Let's talk about dozens of planes that are currently grounded because of a pilot shortage. It is a problem being felt across the entire industry, and experts say the pandemic has made it worse. Thank you for staying with us here at 5:30. I'm Fred Shropshire.
And I'm Vanessa Rufus. And WCNC Charlotte's Lana Harris joins us now from a pilot training school in Concord with more on why recruiting pilots has been such a difficult task for airlines.
Good evening. Well, the fact is getting a pilot's license is just a lot more difficult than a person might think. Not only does it require a lot of studying, it can cost upwards of $80,000 of a person's own money to meet the requirements necessary to get a pilot's license for an airline.
As if COVID wasn't a big enough obstacle for airlines, America is facing a pilot shortage.
And it's not something that's really new or something that's been driven by the pandemic. It's something that's been emerging for a while and has kind of been exacerbated by the pandemic.
Flight instructor Gunter Troutman says many pilots were laid off during the pandemic and others are older and retiring.
So those ones are basically falling through the roster.
But Troutman says the real problem is that they're not easy to replace, in part because of the required minimum 1,500 flight hours.
It takes you probably about 2.5 years really to start from scratch.
Troutman says it's also more challenging than some bargain for.
Yeah, that is something which a lot of people underestimate. They do not see all the theory and the studying behind it.
If the time and difficulty isn't a deal breaker, Troutman says the financial burden could be, as aspiring pilots like him have to finance their own training.
Me personally, it's about $85,000, $90,000, which I had to basically put out of my own pocket into the pilot training.
And Troutman says the payoff in salary isn't immediate.
I think it starts around in the 50,000 a year for the first 2 years. I think the big chunk of money, let me say, going into the six figures, really you just can achieve after 6, 7, 8 years.
Nicole Carrier with United Airlines says their company has joined other airlines offering pilot training programs that assist prospective pilots with the costs.
There could be so many more people who would be interested in it if just given the opportunity. So, we're committed to doing our part to ensure that we're opening that door to as many people as we can.
Lana Harris, WCNC Charlotte.
Now, Boeing expects the demand for airline pilots to remain high for years. The aerospace company said in a recent report that an estimated 612,000 new pilots will be needed worldwide over the next 2 decades.